Hi everyone, hello, hi, this is Christine Crow here and welcome to my channel. Now, what if I was to tell you my story about how I brought scrap gold and turned it into gold bars for profit? Now, stay tuned to this video because I'm going to be talking to you about how to turn scrap gold into gold bars and also how you can actually start a scrap gold business in today, 2025. So this is like gold flipping, using it as a side hustle, for example, alongside with what you're doing already, for example. I'll also be discussing about refining gold for profit. I will further go into the melting gold, how that can be profitable if done correctly using the right organizations, for example, and then how to sell your gold bars for cash or just to have it saved as a rainy day, for example. Now, it's like you're doing gold investments, right, for beginners. So I'll be discussing with you how I brought the gold and then how I was able to refine it as well. So stay tuned for this video. So have you ever wondered if you've seen how people have turned old, or maybe you may not, or may have wondered how it's being done, how they've turned, made these gold bars? Well, they used old jewelry, for example, or scrap jewelry. Broken jewelry is very good for this as well. And it really can be turned into gold bars. I'm serious. This is a really good business opportunity. So that's exactly what I did many, many years ago. I brought scrap gold. I used to hold gold parties many years ago. I even had a website. I'll have to show the video. I think I might even have a video here on YouTube. It's really old, for example. And I was doing, for example, these gold parties, which I think was the rage back then, these gold parties, or maybe it wasn't the rage, for example. But I would say, right, okay, you hold a gold party, I'll come round, get your friends to bring their scrap gold, glass of wine, for example. I bring the wine, for example, and then I'd have these scales, these little scales, and then they'd have some broken jewelry and they'd put it in, they'd have it in a bag or whatever. And then I would then, weigh the scales, weigh the gold, the broken jewelry, for example, and all old jewelry that they didn't want, for example, anymore. And then I would give them the money of what it is valued at as scrap gold, which is totally different from gold bars, for example. So it was a win-win situation. So that's exactly how I was doing it. I was doing gold parties where I was holding a gold party, or I would go and do a gold party, say once a month. It would be around someone's house, for example, and then they'd bring probably about 10 people, for example, and then they'd bring their gold jewelry. It was amazing. They got some money as well as, we had fun, and I think it was truly an amazing idea, for example. And just going further on to that, that is what I'm going to be discussing with you today, how you can turn your scrap gold or other people's scrap gold and turn it into gold bars. And I'll be revealing with you exactly that you can actually do the same thing today. So where am I coming from on this? Listen, I've been in business for over 25 years, but I was doing gold business before I even started doing care agencies. Now, my care businesses, for example. So I've always been an entrepreneur, even from the age of 15, I would say. Okay? And that's another story for another day. But this really was an amazing idea whereby you purchase scrap gold, either, and I'll go through how that was done. Okay, so I was flipping scrap gold and turning them into high value bars, and I made a profit by understanding what the gold market was then. I was constantly scaling and looking at what the gold market was, so I knew what the prices of gold was before I actually went to these gold parties that I used to have, for example. So I'm going to go into some of the strategies that you can start implementing even today. So please stay tuned. And I hope that you've got your pen and paper or laptop open, because I'm going to be diving into this. I want you to stay to the end because I've got a bonus as well. So where do you find these cheap scrap gold? That's what I'm going to be discussing with you, what you can expect, and how I was able to get them melted down and also refined into gold bars. So I'll be also discussing some of the best places that you can sell your gold bars for high profit, and how you can start this gold flipping business side hustle today. So if you like the video, do subscribe and join me, because you will get further updates as well. So where did I buy my scrap gold from? Well, there's lots of ways you can. There's estate sales, there's auctions are very good for this as well. Pawn shops, second-hand dealers, for example, but I also was doing a lot of it on eBay. But you can do it on Facebook as well. But eBay, and I was buying scrap gold. Yeah, I was buying scrap gold, and I would even buy gold that wasn't broken as well. Okay, I was also going to private sellers as well, and like I said, I was holding gold parties once a month, so I would get a load of gold, for example, and then when I got to a certain weight, then it was ready for it to go to be melted down, to be turned into gold bars. You can even do coins if you want to, for example, but I always carried a gold testing kit and a scale with me to make sure that I was able to verify and make sure that it was pure at its best before even buying. So how did I turn the gold into gold bars? So once I had enough gold, like I said, I went to the gold melting and refining companies. I looked them up online, I called them, and then I would then take the gold. But you can also post it, but you know what? If you post it, you got to send it by secure postage, and you got to make sure it's insured, for example. Okay, so make sure that you do that. And then the company then melts it down. They obviously, you weigh it and you fill out the paperwork to say what the weight was, for example, and then when they receive it, they tell you what the weight was, for example, and what the mixture is. So I would ensure that all of the gold was gold, no fake stuff, no gold plated stuff, because they'll suss that out anyway. But it was grouped into purity, so either 10, 14, 18, 22, for example, carat gold, for example. Also back then I was buying gold from India as well, because it was like 24 karat gold. So that was worth even more to me, for example. So then I would send the gold to a gold refining company, and this was in the UK, so they're all around, for example. Wherever you are in the world, you can find them. So I used a refining company, for example. There's local refineries in the area where you are, so things would have changed from when I was doing it many years ago, for example. But I paid a small refining fee, but I still made a huge profit from it as well. So the next step was is that I received my own gold bars, and it just felt really strange. I felt so excited that I actually had gold bars in my hands. I was like, wow. I felt like I was wealthy back then, for example, because I'd never seen gold bars before. Just like, I used to joke about Fort Knox, for example. I felt like I was like becoming like a Fort Knox because I had gold bars, for example, and I was counting them and I was looking at what the market was and seeing how valuable it was as well. So, and I'm quite interested to see when they do go to Fort Knox. I want to see what it looks like inside of Fort Knox and to see what the quality, whether it's, 9 carat gold, 10, 14, 18, 24 carat gold, 22 carat gold. I want to know myself, for example. But the Fort Knox, they were they move gold around the world anyway. I don't know if you was aware of that. I wasn't until I read about it the other day, for example. So like I said, I paid the refining fee and I still made a profit on it. I received the gold bars. After melting it, I received pure 24 karat gold bars. So now, let me tell you something. I was able to sell them at a higher price than what I paid for, because you can either do that or you can keep it as an asset, as i.e. for a rainy day, because it's always liquid cash, for example. It's always valuable. Gold is always valuable. You got to watch the markets, of course, but I never know gold to go down. Even silver. I even did it with silver as well. Yeah, I turned them into bars as well, even though I didn't need to, but I did because I also was collecting silver. So I had silver and gold, for example. So because some people are interested in the bars as well for silver. So you don't need a gold refinery at home. You got to be specialized to really be able to do that. And there's not many people that know how to do that. And I certainly wasn't about to try and buy this equipment, that equipment, and mix it with this and blow torching it and then put it into, nah, I ain't got time for that. I just went straight to a refinery. Now, I made sure that I used a professional service so that the purity and it was legal compliancy as well. Okay. So where I sold my gold bars for maximum profit. Now, what I did here is that once I had the gold bars, sometimes I would keep them in case for a rainy day, for example. But if you want to sell them, you can sell them to private gold investment or collectors, for example. Jewelry manufacturers, for example, online marketplaces, lots of places you can sell the gold bars, gold dealers and exchanges. And I held some gold bars until gold prices increased. That was another thing that I did. Then I sold them for a higher profit. My goodness, gold is like $3,000 per ounce now. That is huge. But you got to really change it into something to make it more valuable, for example. Because if it's scrap, it's not worth much because it's scrap. So how do you store them safely? Well, we had a vault, for example, or a home safe, should I say. Or you can store them securely with a key. You can go to a company or a bank that stores gold, for example. There's also private vaulting companies as well. never tell anyone where you store your gold. You got to keep it secret. If you're storing it at home, then you don't tell anyone that you're storing it at home. I mean, I don't have any gold to store at home anyway because I don't do it anymore. But you don't tell people that you're storing it at home. Excuse me, I had to drink my tea there. Because you want to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe. So that's why it's good to store it at a bank, but they're going to charge you, for example. So if you're going to store it at home, make sure that you've got a home safe that is really kind of stuck to the wall, drilled to the wall, that they can't get at it, and that only you know the combination, for example. So how can you start this side hustle today? Start small. Buy just 5 to 10 grams of gold, for example. You don't have to buy loads of gold. Just start small, okay? Which is what I did. I started small, and then I started thinking, hang on a minute, I can hold gold parties, go around to people's houses, for example, and have a gold party. You probably would have seen it, or maybe you were perhaps holding a party yourself, and you'd have your friends come, and then they would bring their scraps of gold, and they'd make a little, a fiver or a tenner or something, like an extra income. And the person that's doing the gold party, for example, would, bring some bottles of wine, that type of thing. So turned it into like a girly evening, for example. So like I said, I used gold testing equipment to verify its purity. And then I sold to the refinery to turn into to gold bars, the scrap gold into gold bars, for example. Then I would store it, or I would flip the gold bar for profit, for example. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like I had Fort Knox. It wasn't like that. It'd be 1, 2, 3, or 4 gold bars at a time. I didn't have piles of it like Fort Knox, for example. So do you want to learn more about this? Because we are starting a private training on how you can flip gold by building wealth through these smart investments. Because what I really want to say to you in this video is, because of the times that we're in, I believe that this is the time to start doing this now, so that you've got additional income. Because there's many ways to make additional income, don't get me wrong, but this is so solid that it always goes up. For example, sometimes you can purchase a property and it could take 10 years, for example, for you to make a profit, for example, whereas this is a lot quicker, faster, and also you can get hold of cash quickly if you need to have it, for example. So I've got a link here. I'd love for you to book a free 15-minute just to see whether it's something that is going to be of interest to you and you'd like to learn more about how you can learn these advanced tactics to really scale up your gold business, for example. So what I go through is buy bulk, and then you can flip it, for example. The more you buy, the more profits you make. It's quite exciting, actually. I remember when I was doing it many, many years ago. It was really exciting. And you can get the gold at a reduced price because it's broken gold. So you sell smaller pieces at a premium, for example. So those gold bars will be very profitable, for example. Or maybe you may just want to save it, for example, but just don't tell anyone that you're saving it in your own house, for example. Remember years ago, People used to store cash under the bed or under the mattress or under the sofa. They'd rip a hole in the sofa and stuff it in the sofa and sew it back up. Maybe we're back at those times again. I'm not sure. What do you think? Let me know what you think in the comments. And we have really got to look at how we can create investments that's not going to cause us more difficulty, for example. Now, invest in gold monthly. Even if you've saved a small amount each month, buy a little bit of gold each month, broken gold, for example. Because this is how you can create a gold investment. And I really want to share this with you because I knew it helped me out during some difficult times that I was going through many, many years ago, for example. And I could imagine if I still had those gold bars today, what they would have been worth. Wow, unbelievable. So it is a good investment, and I really would love to hear your comments in the section. Is it something that you'd be interested in doing and finding out more about? Because I'm going to be sharing more videos with you about this gold flipping, because it really does work really well, and I want to share this with you. I might even set up another YouTube channel so that it's separate, for example. But at the end of the day, I know that subscribers here would be interested in something like this. I don't think I should be setting up another YouTube channel, because then it's split, because I believe that people would want to know. Let me know in the comments what you think about what I've just said, because setting up a gold business is a very good side hustle, because we've all got earring backs that we've just got, or maybe an earring that's lost the back, or we've just got one earring that is gold, or then we've got a bracelet that is broken, it's not working anymore. So there's all different pieces of gold that people have around the house. Whether it's one or two pieces, it's still something which is valuable, for example, and that they can sell it for. So imagine you having a gold party every month, and tell me in the comments whether you used to do gold parties many years ago, because I know it was quite popular in 2000 and I would say 2007, I believe. I'd have to look back at my eBay receipts, for example, because we're now, and what made me think about this was when there's a lot of talk about Fort Knox, that Donald Trump, the president of the United States, and Elon Musk mentioned about Fort Knox and visiting Fort Knox. It made me think back again to the gold bars that I used to sell and the gold parties that I used to do many years ago. And I'd love to, like I said, I'd love to hear your comments as to whether you did gold parties many years ago. It depends how old you are, of course, but it was a thing back then. It was quite popular as well, but for some reason, you're not hearing much about it. But in today's economy, it's something that we should start looking at. So I would suggest to all of you, for those of you that's watching this, to see whether you've got any broken bits of gold hanging around the place. Same with silver as well. Silver can be valuable as well. Not as much as gold, but it's still valuable. It still holds, the money as well. So check out whether you've got gold or silver. Obviously, you're not going to mix the two, but you're going to keep them separate from each other, for example. But hey, I believe that it is profitable, and you can flip scrap gold and turn them into gold bars. And this is my the reason why I'm talking to you about this today is because I want to bring this open so that we can start looking at doing this, so that we can create an additional side hustle in this way that is quite easy to do once you know how. So what I'd love for you to do is, there's a link here for you to book a free 15-minute. If you're interested in that, I can talk to you more in depth of how you can start your own gold party, for example. And I'm also going to give a free guide, and I will put the link here, but I've got to get my team to sort out the link for me so that you can download the PDF document about creating your profitable gold business for selling to people that want to buy gold from you. So I hope that that was helpful to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments about what you think about selling gold bars in 2025. I believe it's highly profitable. So stay tuned for more videos on this. Like and subscribe so that you can get notifications. And I also want to say thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, as well as for your likes and for your comments. Because listen, we got to look at other ways that we can make additional income streams so that we're not leaving ourselves vulnerable, for example. So I hope that was helpful to you. Stay tuned because I do have some more information to give to you. So I will be going live again tomorrow, and it will be around 7 p.m. UK time. That is 2 p.m. American time. That's New York, Atlanta time I'm referring to, so that you get to know the time scale, for example. And I look forward to sharing more ways that you can make an income stream for yourself. All right, so have a wonderful evening, everyone, and I'll speak with you tomorrow. Thank you. Goodbye.